We're going to get started. So, I want to welcome everyone. It is March 16th, 2026, and we are on day one of the 5-day business reset challenge. I think some of you have been with me before in a challenge. This is something I love because it's an opportunity for us to actually get some traction and focus over the course of a few days. This is our first of 3 live calls that I'll be hosting today. I am recording it, so you might be watching this asynchronously as well. But this is just one part of this week's 5-day business reset challenge, which maps to our Flow Flex Scale programming for business owners. So I really hope that you'll find this week is a week to reset, refocus, and reignite your business in a world of ongoing change. I love these live calls because it is an opportunity for us to come together and learn with and from each other. So I've got some experiential exercises that are not in today's video. Today's video has now been posted over at the Conversation Sparker Zone, which I will show you in some slides. I brought a few slides because every challenge I run, I learn. And I've been offering challenges since 2020 and have a lot of fun. So if you haven't met me before, I'm Jennifer Britton. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Potentials Realized. We serve 3 audiences. We work with group and team coaches, and you may know me from my writing. I wrote the world's first book on group coaching back in 2009, quickly followed 3 years later by From One to Many: Best Practices for Group and Team Coaching. I don't just write in coaching, though. I also do a lot of work with teams and leaders, specifically in the evolving world of work. So, remote, hybrid, and now AI enabled. And the ink is just drying on my next official, traditionally published book, which will be out probably not for a year. That's the downside of doing traditional publication routes, but it is going to be a book on coaching and the future of change of work. So I'm really excited because that's going to bridge us with my last 2 writing series, which is the Reconnecting Workspaces Guide. And that came out in 2021. Some of you may have it. At the same token, I want to talk today. Our focus is really on the third leg of our business, which is all about entrepreneurs. So, since opening the doors here in 2004, a lot of my work has been on the side with entrepreneurs. I continue to do work. I shouldn't say I have worked. I continue to do work going into the third decade of work with micro enterprise throughout the Caribbean around what we would used to call cottage scale industry, but now is really looking at tourism, sustainable fashion, and a bunch of things like that. I also continue to work here in Canada with groups of entrepreneurs. And I like to say that is pretty important because the life cycle lifespan of a lot of entrepreneurs is only a few years. And all of you on the line, many of you have joined me through our programs. Many of you are in also the FlowFlex Scale Lab, which is our latest group coaching iteration and supports. And several of you are, 10 years plus into a business, which is unheard of in many industries. So, my hope is that this week you're going to have some fun. You're also going to have an opportunity to really move your business forward as well. So, whether this is the first time you've seen me or not, I'm going to just stop my share because Zoom is doing some funky things. Welcome to all of you. Just wave to each other because some of you know each other. Some of you might not have met each other, but I know we'll also be joined by others on the screen. And I think the 3 R's of the week, it's about resetting, realigning, and for some, maybe even restarting. As many of you know, I worked for the UN for several years in the global sector. I am always keeping an eye on what is happening, and we really are in moments of immense change in the world, whether it's AI, economics, geopolitics. I think as entrepreneurs, we're well placed because we can always reset, realign, and restart. And this challenge is going to be evergreen. So you can come back to this at any time. Don't feel that you have to consume and experience this in just one week. There's lots of layers to the learning. Today is an opportunity for you to take a step back and pause around your business. Earlier this morning, I just posted a 30-minute on-demand video. It'll be at the Conversation Sparker Zone, which I'll show you in just a minute. But that's an opportunity for you to work through, maybe in a journal or on another device, some exercises around where are you with your business right now. I think it's a really interesting landscape that we're operating within. Given all the changes, it may be important for you to look at what is important to reset. Do you keep doing what you've been doing? Do you want to make some changes? And that's going to lead us into tomorrow's focus of clarifying your offer for now. I really hope that you leave this week with clarity on what it is that you want to be going and sharing with the world in Q2. We are just about 10 days away from the end of the quarter. And my guess is some of you spent time in November, December doing a vision. You might have tucked it away. One of the things we launched was the 2026 Flow Flex Scale Planner about 3 months ago. And one of the exercises I took a lot of people through in November was your Q4 integration, looking at your plans. My guess is, like me, you might not have pulled it out. So this week is an invitation. Pull out those plans, see where you're going. Is it still the offer for now, or do you want to make a change? And you can always make a change as an entrepreneur, especially as a solopreneur. Wednesday, we are going to be looking at activating conversations because many people participating are probably coaches. So opportunities happen through relationship, whether we're in person, whether we're virtual, really want to sort of create this spark around what would it be like to have more conversations, especially in Q2. Spaces and places need coaching right now, like probably never before. Whether people's heads are turning because of the speed of AI, maybe they are having brain fry, which is a new term that's just been released around the cognitive load for people in today's workplace. How do we find a counterpoint to that? And I think some of the conversations, some of the tools we use as coaches, especially group and team coaches, can be an important resting spot for people to have a counterbalance to some of the brain fry that is starting to happen in AI-enabled workspaces. Now, as entrepreneurs, our work doesn't grow by itself. And I really hope that by Thursday, you'll be open to joining me in an on-demand video, getting you thinking about what does visibility look like for you and your business this year and this upcoming quarter. Are you going to be speaking? Are you doing a podcast? Are you going out and meeting people face to face, having coffees? We want to make sure that we're found, especially in moments where the traditional marketing vehicles are also changing. So some of you have heard me talk a little bit about GEO or AEO, which is the new search functionality, which has been created because of AI. So people are not just finding you on Google anymore, they're finding you through AI. We increasingly, probably 50% of our new inquiries here at Potentials Realized over the last 4 to 5 months have been by AEO or artificial engine optimization. Some call it GEO. So just to give you a landscape of terminology as well, GEO stands for generative engine optimization, engine optimization, GEO. Some people in the world will use GEO as a terminology. Others will use AEO, which is AI engine or AI enabled optimization. So as entrepreneurs, we've been taught for years, get content out there. I think that's still important, but now your content might be generated by an AI of whatever capability. So I would say you'll want to think this week about how do you stand out. It's no sort of surprise how circular the world is. And to me, in 2021, we did a whole series of standout virtually challenges that you can actually find on our YouTube channel. So if you want to follow the rabbit trail of standing out, I think you might find some really interesting information in that 2021. And I'll put links to all of this in our Conversation Sparker Zone. I know that you're all business owners, so you don't have a lot of time. And part of the intent of doing this week is to really reignite your business. And what is the lifeblood of a business? It is revenue. In times of change, that can create constraint, but it also can create immense opportunity. Think about the pivots that the world went through in 2020. What happened to your business then? I won't say that that's what's around the corner, but there is definitely a lot of change happening. And there's also a lot of new income streams that are happening. As business owners, we want to be thinking about where are we putting our attention? And maybe are there new revenue streams that you're thinking about? One of the things that you'll hear me talk about in today's on-demand video is this bringing back this notion that was first captured in 2004 when I was starting my business by a wonderful author and coach, Andrea J. Lee. Andrea wrote a book called, and you can still find it on Amazon in print, Multiple Streams of Coaching Income. Multiple streams of coaching income. Her name is Andrea J. Lee, and Andrea is still in business. I don't know if she still does a lot of coaching. She might, but I was really shaped. I was really impressed, I think is the word, by her speaking in probably 2004 and 5 when I was just starting my
Hello,
business. And I didn't want to just do one thing. I wanted
how
to
are
make
you?
sure that our business was robust in, and it made a lot of sense as I heard her say, maybe you want to have multiple income streams. Every coach that I first met in 2002 and 3 when I was starting out and still wasn't even in a business was like, "Oh, you must just do one thing, Jennifer, as a coach." And I was like, "Really? I don't think I'm going to thrive if I'm only doing one thing." And thank goodness I didn't listen to that because, I wouldn't have pioneered in the whole field of group coaching or, contributed to the field of team coaching. I think we're really much in an offer right now of we want to examine what is really getting traction in our businesses. So I say that, and most of the lens I'm wearing this week or the hat I'm wearing this week is really as a business mentor, right? I used to be a post-secondary faculty member in a school of business here at the post-secondary level in Canada. I still dabble in that. It's not my full identity, but I think we need to really be looking at the landscape of what is out there. So, why I wanted to do this, and we're going to get into some dialogue in a minute, really the seismic shifts that are happening. I hope that it's an opportunity for you to fill your cup. All of you are doing amazing work in the world, and I hope that this is giving you an opportunity to really pause for what is important to you. So, this is our roadmap. For those of you that were with me, and I think Mary Garrett, you were with me in the August one. In August, we did a 5-day challenge, which was the Spark to Scale challenge. I still, in the background, I'm going to have that running in the background. So today is really sparking your energy around resetting your lens. Tomorrow, we're going to shape your offers. What do you want to be offering? Wednesday, we're going to be sharing, getting out and starting to have some conversations with people. And as we move into Thursday of this week, it's going to be thinking about scale. How do you really create more visibility with your offer so that you can sustain your business? Businesses are, we need lifeblood of revenue. So all of this too now maps to something I wasn't talking about as much in August, but that being flow flex skill. And some of you this week have been with me all quarter working on a daily, even a weekly basis to move your business forward. And that will be starting again. It's a quarterly program that resets every first day of the new quarter. So I launched it in October of last year with our Q4 group, October through December 31st. We started again January to March, end of March, and we'll reset again in April to June. So you might hear from some of our current students. I love it because it's an opportunity to really take action. Regardless, this week, excuse me, we're going to be hosting your videos. Everything is in Conversation Sparker Zone. So the Mighty Networks is a hub, as you can see here. This is a screenshot. We've been using this off and on for many, many years, right from the day they opened their doors in 2019. We used to host a lot of our community groups on Mighty Networks. And what I've done for this challenge is start a whole new group for the March 2026 Business Reset Challenge. So you'll find all videos, you'll find correspondence, you'll find additional links here on Mighty Networks. I've put the link here. I think I can also put it in chat if it's easier for you to just get it in chat. If you're in Mighty Networks, just know that I'm not posting to the main network, I'm posting to the group so that it's all constrained and contained in one space. I've just put the link there, so please feel free to click on that right now. Either sign up for the Mighty Network, which is ours is called the Conversation Sparker Zone. And it is a really great platform to have for asynchronous and synchronous groups. The fun thing about it is, and I think they must be on my newsletter perhaps, because they reached out to me and they said, "We hear you're doing a challenge." So I have a box of Mighty Networks merch coming tomorrow that I will be sharing with you on one of our live calls. I've really enjoyed them. I know there's lots of other options, but it's been a great way for us to sort of keep some programming in one space and low cost as well. It's an annual fee that we use. So that is available. Um, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to actually stop sharing because I think those are the sort of the main elements I wanted to share with you. I want to welcome you, and I'm just curious, what has brought you to today's challenge? What is it that you want to get out of the experience this week? So let's just meet each other if you're open to it. You can share whatever level of detail, but what drew you to a live call today? Such an anomaly in today's world. What brought you here? Who wants to kick us off? Diane, do you want to go? All right, over to you, Diane. Kick us off.
I'm an extrovert, so I'll go first.
Fantastic.
I do better live and I do better with people. And
Hmm.
I'm resetting some things, I'm reevaluating some of the things that I do, and I've just kind of looking at where do I need to go, and I do better. I have your book, I receive information from you, and I thought, doggone it, just
Get on
do
the call.
this. Get on the call, and from everything you have said, I think this is exactly what I need right now.
Yeah, I think
And I thank
regardless of
you.
where we are in business, there is so much happening that it's just valuable. This is not going to take you hours a day unless you want to go hours a day, but at
Hmm.
least 30 minutes a day. I think in today's world of change, whether we're looking at one or all of the issues at play, it's just valuable. This is our lifeblood. Um, as solopreneurs, and this might sound extreme to people who aren't entrepreneurs, like this is our livelihood. And I think, as I said, there can be immense pressures, but there can also be immense opportunities
Hmm.
if we have time to pause, stop, and take stock of what's going on. Because we know that businesses grow daily. They don't grow through these huge, like, oh, I went from 0 to 7 figures. I would just say there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in a lot of industries, and you might have heard that, but I bet you those people who have gone from 0 to 7 figures have been doing the work or have a team that's doing the
Hmm.
work. And what is different for, I think, all of us, or on the call at least that I know, we either are a solopreneur, a one-person show, or we have a very small team of collaborators. And that's a choice. I remember my old executive editor, he's not old, but he was my first executive editor, said when I was bringing out my first two books with Wiley, "Jen, will you ever grow a big company?" And I said, "No, that's not in my vision. I loved leading big teams for the UN, but in starting this business in 2004, it's about being smart in terms of how we activate resources." So we have flexible team members. We also are using AI quite a bit to, enable the organization. And, it allows us in moments of change to grow or compress as needed. And if we look at the landscape, like I think about Friday's big announcement from Atlassian, they let 1,500 people go. I can't imagine the pressure as a CEO to be having to do that sort of downsizing. And so you're going to be hearing from personal experience from me, but you'll also be exposed to other amazing entrepreneurs throughout the week not everyone can join us live. So that's where the Conversation Sparker Zone becomes a great place for people who are on different time zones, different parts of the world to zoom in. And my hope is that this is, even though it's March 2026, that people will find this years later because we always need a reset, even
Mhm.
once a quarter. So thanks, Diane. Great to have you here live. And just to recap
Thank
our
you.
live calls this week, tomorrow will be 12 noon. Wear green if you would like to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with me. Friday will be 12:30 Eastern. All of them here in this Zoom room. So please share this with your network. Invite people. I don't let any AI note takers come in the room, though. Just know that. So who else? Who else would like to share what brought you here and what you want to get out of the week? Anyone else want to do that? You can also put it in chat. Feel free if you don't feel very verbal this morning. I know for me, I love challenge weeks because I also follow along. So as I've been recording the videos, I have been doing the exercises. Here's what's new. So there's always some new layer to this. There's two more things that I haven't talked about. So this one, I have some AI prompts for you to experiment with. So every day you're going to get three prompts. Do one, do them all, your choice. There's going to be one around business foundations for you and your AI partner to really look at what are your business foundations looking like in each of these five areas. The second prompt each day, you can do it this week, you could do it another week. It's a lot for the 1 week, but I wanted to just give it to you all at once. Second area is going to be a revenue resource. Okay, so we've got business foundations, we've got a revenue resource, and then the third one, even I can't remember what it is. Oh, it's a mindset prompt. A mindset prompt. And that one is interesting. AI has been interesting in the mental health area, but I would say mindset as a entrepreneur, it wasn't my verbiage, but I think it was Richard Branson said that it's about 80% is all mindset. And I think especially in times of change and pressure, mindset is what's going to keep us going. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this. So I hope that you'll enjoy these three prompts every day. I am going to just take us back into the slides for a minute, but then bring your voice in. Actually, I won't. I'll just say there's going to be a section under the Conversation Sparker Zone where you can share, doesn't have to be great detail, but just share an insight or two around your field work. Because part of a challenge is doing work every day. And to sort of reward you on that, in our live calls, I'm going to be doing some giveaways. So tomorrow's giveaway at 12 noon for anyone who completes today's field work and comments on it in the Conversations Sparker Zone, you're going to get a lovely digital copy of the 2026 FlowFlex Skill calendar. You can print it at home, you can take it to Staples to get bound, but I am enjoying it because it does allow for weekly reviews and, just as a coach, I don't have to put my whole calendar on the web, which I really don't want to do these days. So that is just the two other things. And again, please participate. We've got some really good bonus gifts coming, including the grand prize, two grand prize. So one grand prize is going to be Q2, yes, Q2 2026 with me at the FlowFlex Scale Lab. We meet Mondays and Fridays for live calls. That program is valued at $1,997. And I hope someone in this room will win it. The other grand prize is a 2 hour meeting with me where I do, and it's going to be a written document too, where I'm going to do an experience audit on one of your programs. We'll look at from start to finish. So from onboarding with your clients to the end, I'm going to be putting on my experience design hat and giving you some consulting time to really move a product, or it could be a program forward. So it could be a physical something or it could be a digital course. So I'll be drawing for those on Monday of next week. I'll come back next Monday and do a final call. And what you'll need to do to be entered into the draw is do your field work every day. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, it'll take about 30 minutes a day. Your business and your people will thank you. So how does that sound? Is anyone excited? Diane's like animated. Diane is like, oh, and I see Valerie going, oh, yes. So let's check in. Anyone else want to share what brought them here? What brought you here?
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Valerie. It's so good to see
Um,
you.
Good to see you. So I am a new solopreneur, so I am just getting things off the ground, and I have spent so much time designing my products. That's why I was smiling when you were talking about that. That now I'm having to turn to the marketing and actually reaching people. And so I'm really excited to reset. I was just writing down my goals. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about some of these things.
Yeah.
Really excited to do that. And as you know, I'm also wear many hats and I've got lots of interests. So I'm trying to figure out how to manage all of those things so I can do all the things I want to do.
I love it. And Valerie and I, if I may say, we have a shared identity as writers.
Yes.
So it's good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank
Glad that
you.
you made it. And again, like I think what Valerie just said, the ability to really take a little bit of time, nano time, to just notice what do we want to focus on. And that's one of the things we do every Monday at the FlowFlex Scale Lab. So if I may say, I was just with Candy and Kathy a few minutes ago, where, we just look, we spend time just quickly going through what's our week look like, because in today's world, there's just so much that can be happening. 15, 20 minutes, we go through a process where it really gets clear. And so one thing I will share from that, we roll the dice, or some weeks I roll the dice. Some of you know my one of my favorite products that I've created, the Reconnecting Workspaces dice. So I'm not going to roll the dice again for today, but we came up with toolkit, toolkit. So toolkit was one. Productive or busy was number two. That might have relevance, productive or busy. And the third one was pitfalls. So I just want to offer those up as a creative spark for you today. Toolkit, productive or busy, and pitfalls. Just notice what is important to you for now. And every time we do live calls this week, I'll bring one of our products in just because I think, again, like leaders and entrepreneurs, there can be some new, really neat insights that emerge from our just thinking time, creative thinking time. So we've got a few minutes left. Anyone have questions about this week or want to introduce themselves? All right. Well, here's an activity that I was going to do live, but I think I'll leave it with you. Part of resetting the lens is also doing a SWOT. So some of you may be really familiar with the strategic planning tool called the SWOT. I'm just going to bring back my deck here for a minute. So please join us over at the March 2026 Business Reset Challenge. That's where I'll be looking for everyone's comments around the daily ideas. You don't have to share your SWOT, but I think as a business owner, this is a really valuable exercise to do on a quarterly basis. So taking a look at your internal landscape, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? What are the things that you're doing really well as a business? And what are the things that maybe aren't going as well? Typically when I do this every quarter, things that come up in our strengths category is we have a lot of great programs. But the flip side is the weakness of, how are they getting marketed? How do people know about it in a world which is oversaturated with marketing? I know I and the team of humans and AI could be doing more on the visibility front. That is a weakness. It could potentially become not just a weakness, but a threat, right? Threats and opportunities help us get into the external landscape. And one of the threats that I would say this business, and for me as a CEO and founder, have been facing in the last year or two is really the advent of AI, right? Everyone can now, quote unquote, be an expert. This is one of the reasons why about a year ago, I started adding even more focus on our experiential line of products and programs because AI cannot and will never be able to sort of replicate what we uniquely do. And so I've been working on, part of the time with all my hats to really be moving that threat into more of a strength through our experiential roadshow line of programming. So we do retreats a couple times a year. I just did one from Barbados about 6 weeks ago, really looking at how do you yourself as a coach, as a facilitator, create powerful experiences for your clients. Last year, our theme was make it memorable. This year, our theme is make it visible. So stay tuned for some of that make it visible sort of visual coaching, visual facilitation coming out soon, which I see as an opportunity, right? There's so many things that we could be doing, but what's going to help us as a business line stand out in today's world of AI enabled businesses? Opportunity and threat. So I hope that you'll find maybe 5, 15 minutes. Again, you can decide how much time you want to give it. One little tip on doing your own SWOT, set a timer. Just grab a timer, set your timer for maybe 2 or 3 minutes for each of these buckets. And that way you can be moving through this exercise and even any of the exercises that I'm bringing to live or on demand. So again, enjoy the challenge with me this week, whether you're able to come back or not. There's videos embedded, so you'll have me talking about this. You've probably seen it. This is what you'll see over at the Sparker Zone. And I hope that you enjoy these prompts. So that is compliments of my chat GPT to infuse these prompts. I don't have a name for my chat, but I do enjoy spending time, obviously, because I found out at the end of the year I'm in the top 0.5% of users. Yet I am a conceptual user, which makes sense because I use my chat to do a lot of brainstorming, whether it's brainstorming for writing, whether it's brainstorming for programming, marketing, etc., etc. So that is it for today. We're just past the half an hour, and I'll try to keep our calls to about half an hour, 35 minutes. What was valuable? I just want to hear from you. What was valuable? And you can share that in chat, or Diane might want to share it verbally. That's fine. I love voices. What was valuable to spend half an hour thinking about your week, thinking about business?
What's valuable for me is I am reassessing my business and I had certain to-dos today. And I think really sometimes before I get to certain to-dos calls, I need to sit down and get refocused.
Yeah.
And even to gather that today, let's get a little focus here, Diane, before you start making your calls and ask to sit down with some people and have a short conversation.
Mm, yeah. Well, look at
Mhm,
Juan Diego says the same, having this space for reflecting and making a
mhm,
pause for getting refocused. Valerie says, I love the AI infused conversation, very helpful. And I think that is a huge opportunity for all of us. Some of you have been with me in our AI enabled booster days. So I do a 3 hour, 4 hour program looking at how do we start incorporating or take it to the next level with AI programming, AI workflows, AI and sort of marketing and visibility. But there's only so much we can do. And so this week, it's really half an hour a day or an hour a day for you to be focusing on each of these areas. Mary Garrett, I know your mic is off. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I found the fall one and the visioning for 2026 super helpful. And my commitment is taking leaps with consistent action and momentum, which I've been doing, but I think the number of people signing up for things has gone down.
Yeah.
And so just kind of really looking at it and thinking about it and where do I want to focus? So super
Yeah.
helpful.
And I think, this week too, it is a moment in time, but I think, it's important that we connect and we share information. The beautiful thing I think of businesses is our business can shift for good and for bad in a moment. That's the beauty of being a solopreneur. And I think the collective knowledge base in this room or in the community is very, very strong. So, as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, we may be starting to say, oh, I think this is this. Check it out with people that you know and people that you meet because, there are a lot of things happening, but like I said, there's also a lot of opportunities that exist. But it may mean reframing some of the things. So one reason why we have the 90-day FlowFlex Scale Lab is because after 7 years of running the annual Coaching Biz Growth Lab, people didn't want to sign up for a whole year program. They were much more comfortable focusing in those 90-day windows. And I think it's actually a much better experience for people in the 90 days. But that may be something we need to keep reevaluating, which is why, if you think back to the start of the call, I talked about Andrew J. Lee's book, Multiple Streams of Coaching Income. I think certainly my learning in 2008 as a young business in the last economic downturn was the things that got us through was multiple revenue sources, multiple partnerships, even multiple people that we were serving. This is why still 20 plus years later, we have three lines of business. It's coaches, it's leaders, it's entrepreneurs. When one goes down, the others stay up, which is a really interesting concept to think about as an entrepreneur as well. So, with that, thanks everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow, 12 noon. All calls will be on the same Zoom line, and you'll see an email from me in the next hour or so with the recording link.
It's great to be with everyone. I can't make the other ones.
Aw,
I'll
okay, but you'll be with us,
I'll be with
input in
you in the
the,
conversation sparker. Yeah.
yeah, in the conversation sparker, definitely input. You can also leave audio notes if you feel more comfortable just doing a little video. So feel free to do that. But good to
Okay.
see you, Mary Garrett.
It's great to see you. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
everyone.
you
Have a
very
great
much.
day. Take
You
care.
too.
Bye.
Bye.